own living room. We got problems right in our own space, in our own home. And for those who are not inquiring, not searching of the Lord, asking God, what's going on? What do you want me to do? Where am I in my walk with you? We find ourselves with no strength to stand. We're crying ourselves until we have no strength left. We're overcome with fear and fall out on the floor because our relationship with the Lord is at best shaky. But there is one. There are those who know God for themselves. And the Bible tells us that when everybody else had fallen on the floor, had been overcome by fear, had wept until they had no more strength in them, it says that then David was greatly distressed because they talked about stoning him because it was his fault. See, the men, the 600 men, are overcome because their wives had been taken. David's got to deal with the fact that his 2 wives had been taken, and he's responsible for the wives of the 600 men, and their children, and their possessions. So they're falling in the floor, giving up because of their situation, but David's got his own situation and their situation, and plus they're talking about stoning him. But some kind of way, in that space, in that dark place, with his face down in the mud, with everybody against him and desiring to kill him, he finds some strength in the Lord. Where's your strength this morning? What's keeping you standing this morning? What's keeping your eyes looking forward and hope in your heart this morning? What's keeping your tongue positive this morning? David says, I found my strength in the Lord. I didn't find my strength in the headlines. I didn't find my strength in my 600 friends who have been faithful up to this point. I didn't find my strength in that. I didn't find my strength in my circumstance in my life. I found my strength in the Lord. 3 things as I go to my seat. That's the old Baptist side of me coming out. He says, the first thing that God gives him is direction. And David in verse 7 said to Abiathar, bring me the ephod. That's that linen robe that allows him to go into the very presence of the Lord. He says, for this pain right here, I need to go and stand before God. That's different than driving down 83 or 695 and just deciding to take some time to pray. This is quiet, personal time alone. Designated, set aside on my calendar, on my schedule. I'm taking no meetings. I don't need my cell phone right now because I'm spending time with the Lord because I need to hear from him. Bring me the ephod. Bring me into the very presence of God himself. This is not a 5-minute, a 2-minute, a fly-by-night thing. I'll say a few words as we're heading off and off into the next thing. We're just going to think of prayer. God says, you got to find some time when you inquire of me, you search me, when you hear from me. David says, bring me the ephod. I need to go and stand in front of the Lord for this. There's nothing wrong with being in your car